called the BP, the big player. So I was betting $1,000 a hand, and we position ourselves in three positions on the blackjack table, and the card counter was positioned in the middle, so he could count the cards as they were coming out of the strip.
Okay, then what precipitated you leaving Las Vegas? How did that go down?
Well, my interest has always been martial arts, so I had this idea that in the 50s it was judo, in the 60s it was karate, in the 70s it was uh, kung fu, and I said, well, I think the next thing will be this thing called ninjitsu. And I was always an avid fan as a kid watching samurai movies. In fact, my hero was always a Japanese guy named Shintaro Katsu, and he played this character called the Blind Swordsman. This is a series out of Japan. And I was just fascinated with sword fighting, and I was a martial artist, so I was usually working with different weapons. So I had this idea of writing a script about the ninja concept. And so this friend of mine said, I think you won't do it here, so just go to LA. So he presented me an opportunity to go to LA, and within 6 months I wrote a script and I sold it to Canon Films.
That was the end of the Ninja,
And so,
and several sequels.
oh yeah, then they did the American Ninja. They had five of those.
What countries did you film those in?
We shot in the Philippines, Enter the Ninja. We shot American Ninja 1 in the Philippines, and then we went to South Africa and did American Ninja 2, 3, 4, and I think 5 was shot in Israel. I didn't work on 5.
Okay, that's tremendous. The what were some of in the movie industry? What roles did you have in the movie industry?
Well, I've done several things. I even um, did some producing, directing some movies, martial arts choreography, a stuntman, a writer of the script. So I
Weapons master,
weapons master. Yeah, yeah.
right? Let's see. And you ended up going to the Philippines after you had this network built up, many years in the industry, well known throughout the Americas as well as internationally. And then you left the United States abruptly. What happened, Michael Stone?
Well, the number one thing we have to do in life, I think, is we have to know who we are. I think unless you truly find out, and the sooner you do that, you find out who you really are, I don't think you're going to have a very good life. It's going to be always, life is life anyway. It's going to come with so many challenges. But your inability to cope with problems in life is the trick. You have to be able to deal with every situation. In order for you to do that, you can only do it if you know who you are. To do that, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to stop lying to yourself first, and then stop lying to other people. Honesty is really the best policy. So I was so disillusioned by the turn that martial arts had made after I competed. Even in the early 70s, there was chaos about kickboxing, Muay Thai, all these different martial arts things kept popping up. Everybody's claiming they're the best in their system. So I realized that when I was an athlete, younger athlete, uh, being angry and aggressive and violent actually was a trait that they looked for, especially in football players. So I was that young man when my mother died when I was 11. So I adapted that type of an attitude. So that gave me an edge as a fighter and a competitor. I did a little bit of boxing when I was in the sixth and seventh grade. So that helped. I went to the boarding school. That helped. As far as being on my own, being independent. Going to the army right after. Within 3 weeks of graduating, I joined the army. That was 3 years. I was in the army. I did karate. I started competing. That was fantastic. Now it was one-on-one, not a team sport. I excelled at that, and that's all because of anger. But my true spirit was I wasn't learning what I thought martial arts was. Honor, respect, integrity. Nobody ever taught that. You know, it doesn't just come with it because it's an oriental activity. So you have to develop this, and you have to be taught it. The people that's teaching you, they have to be this way. And I looked around and everybody was just trying to kill each other. So I got so disillusioned at where I saw it going. I didn't want to participate at all anymore. So the only way I could do that, honestly, was to remove myself geographically from the entire environment. So I found this little island in 1981 when I did Enter the Ninja. I had some break, like a 1 month break. So I went to this island, and it was exactly like the island I was on Maui, Oahu when I grew up. It looked exactly like that. The atmosphere, the people, the friendliness, the camaraderie, the respect was genuine. So when I saw that, I said, I'll move here. So I just made a complete change of my life, and that's the best decision I ever made because it allowed me the peace and quiet to really reflect on who I was, what I have done, and everybody's bent out of shape about my accomplishments. And I'm going like, I didn't do anything. It was so easy and effortless. Why is everybody making such a big deal? So, go ahead.
I want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
Mike, did you ever spar? How much sparring did you do to get as good as you were?
I never practiced law. Never.
You never sparred?
No. Never.
That's incredible. So, how much injuries did you get? Did you get your nose broken, your cheekbones broken?
I've never been hit in the face in 91 matches.
Never?
Never.
Not once?
It's hard to hit me in the face when I'm turning my back running away as a coward. I'm kidding.
Mike, I'm going to just ask a few more things. I know that you're living on a beautiful island, and you have and you found out who you are. And let me ask you about the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
You performed a sidekick. How did that go down?
Yeah. When I was in the army, when I was 19, from watching these movies, the first movie I saw, I was in freshman in high school. I saw this movie called Denko Karate Uchi, a Japanese film, and I saw this guy doing a flying sidekick in the film. I lived in the border department, so I ran back up the hill 3 miles just to get an opportunity to start practicing what I saw. We had a 3-foot platform. There was a stage for graduation. It's the Borders Field, and I was practicing jumping off this platform, practicing these flying sidekicks. So I was a freshman in high school. So fast forward to I don't know when that was. Anyway, they had a thing in Los Angeles called the Guinness Game, and you make a statement, and then they have 3 contestants that can bet wager up to $1,000 on whether what you say you can do or whether you can. And if you do it, they win what they bet of their 1,000. And so I was asked to go on to see if I could do something different. The first thing they said, well, there's a lot of black belts, a lot of karate people, a lot of people that won. But what do you think you can do that no other black belt can do? I said, I don't know. I said, I once jumped when I was 19. I jumped and kicked the mic boom. They put a little piece of tape on the end of a mic boom and held it about 7 feet in the air. And it was on a show called Jimmy Jump. One of my karate partners had a kiddies program. So he asked me to come on the show and do something exciting for the kids. So I said, yeah, just put a tape up there and the mic boom and I'll jump and kick it. And it was about 7 feet. And so I did that at 19. Then when I was 35 was when this opportunity came to do it again. I was living at Club California off of Colfax. And they said, what can you do? I said, I can probably jump 7 feet and break some boards. And they said, wow, really? Could you do that? And when was the last time you did that? I said, I think I was 19. How old are you now? 35? They said, you can still jump? And in fact, I took a very good friend of mine, Benny the Jet Urquidez. He's a world champion. He's an icon. And Benny accompanied me to the show. And Benny is not as tall as I am. So when we walked in and we saw the apparatus that they had built for me to do this on the show, he looked up at 7 feet. He says, Mike, you'll never do that. I said, Benny, I didn't come here. You're supposed to encourage me, man. What are you saying? I can't do it. But yeah, and to practice for that, I had some doubts, of course. And at our where I was living, the apartment complex, they had a tennis court. So to practice for the 7-foot kick, I jump over the tennis court net about 4 or 5 times.
That was your practice, huh?
That was my practice, yeah.
And of course, you broke the boards.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Um, when could you tell me about the Bruce? They had that Wing Loop Museum in Seattle, Bruce Lee's adopted hometown, and they had an exhibition. Did you know Bruce Lee? And
Oh yeah, very
you were
well.
invited to that.
Yeah, Bruce's wife, I think it was October of 2013 or 2014. They had a big celebration up in Seattle, and then this Chinese museum was going to offer a wing of it for a Bruce Lee exhibit. So his wife, Linda, asked if I would come up from the Philippines and give the opening address or something.
You hadn't talked to her in
I haven't talked to her
decades?
in ages, yeah. Ages.
And it's called Did You Know Bruce? And she had you do the keynote?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was really cool.
Oh man, that's tremendous. Now I know that in October of 23 they had an event in Houston, and
Yeah.
something about all in one night, many black belts were 10th degree dance. Tell us about that.
Well, 10th degree is supposed to be the highest rank you can attain in martial arts, regardless of whether it's Chinese, Okinawan, Korean, Japanese.
Uh-huh.
So they had an award ceremony, and I was invited to receive a 10th degree black belt. Now, my instructor gave me a fourth. As far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for me. So, for me, anything above that was insignificant. So, the amount of degree or the color of your belt means absolutely nothing. And I really believe that. That's the reason I left. And I've been living in the Philippines for 40 years. So, when they had this award ceremony, I was presented with 17 10th degree black belts in one night. And that's, I was like, come on. So listen, I appreciate the gesture. I appreciate the people doing this and recognizing my accomplishments and contributions. But yeah, but it should not be taken seriously.
Now the other night, we're in October of 2024. Black Belt Magazine, the Bible of martial arts. They invited you over to the Avalon Theater for an award. What was that about?